Early morning, 23rd September 1918. The last great cavalry charge of the First World War is about to get underway. The British forces had been making steady gains in the Middle Eastern theatre in recent months, and the Ottoman-occupied town of Haifa now lay in front of them. With no mechanized units at his disposal, Field Marshal Allenby ordered the men of the Jodhpur Lancers and Mysore Lancers to take the town. The men of the two Indian cavalry brigades rode through a hail of gunfire and artillery to leave an indelible mark on the history of the Great War. Born in 1845, Pratap Singh was the third son of Maharaja Taqat Singh, the ruler of the princely state of Jodhpur in northwestern India. Having served in the British Army during the Second Afghan War in the 1870s, Pratap Singh returned home and formed a small mounted cavalry unit after arming and training 60 of his followers. In 1889, the colonial government asked princely states to raise regiments to serve with the imperial army. Pratap Singh's small force rapidly expanded and the Jodhpur Lancers were formed. In 1914, at the advent of the First World War, Pratap Singh immediately volunteered to lead the Jodhpur Lancers to France. After arriving in Flanders in late 1914, the Jodhpur Lancers served on the Western Front for over 3 years. At this time, they gained the nickname of the Jo Hukum Lancers, meaning that they were ready to follow any order, no matter how dangerous. In 1917, the Jodhpur Lancers followed British tanks into action at the Battle of Cambrai, where they fought dismounted at Villiers Ridge. In February 1918, the Jodhpur Lancers were transferred to the Middle Eastern Theatre as part of the 15th Imperial Service Cavalry Brigade. The Ottomans were still putting up fierce resistance, and Field Marshal Edmund Allenby began his offensive into Palestine and Syria in September 1918. Allenby set his sights on the strategic coastal town of Haifa in present-day Israel. Haifa was easily defensible, with Mount Carmel in the southwest and the Kishon River in the northeast. The only path into the town was a narrow valley in between, which was well defended by the Ottoman and Austrian forces. Artillery and machine gun placements overlooked the valley. Allenby had no mechanized units at his disposal and tasked the Jodhpur and Mysore Lancers with taking the town. The Mysore Lancers were tasked with silencing the guns on Mount Carmel. Major Dalpad Singh, commander of the Jodhpur Lancers, was ordered to lead his men in the main attack on the town the following morning. The son of Sir Pratap Singh's minister, Dalpad Singh, was born in 1892. Educated in England, Dalpad Singh was an excellent horseman and polo player. He joined the Jodhpur Lancers in late 1914 and served on the Western Front, where he was made a squadron commander. Dalpad Singh had shown his remarkable capability as a soldier and leader in July 1918 during a skirmish at El Hinu on the banks of the Jordan River. He led a mounted charge of 125 horsemen at the Ottoman positions. Dalpad himself charged down a machine gun position and killed the gunners with his pistol, also taking an officer hostage. On the morning of the 23rd of September 1918, the Mysore Lancers began their attack on the Ottoman positions on Mount Carmel, but ran into trouble because of the steep terrain. At around 2 p.m., the Jodhpur Lancers were finally given the order to move out of their position at Balad al-Sheikh, 7 kilometers outside of Haifa. They came under heavy fire from the Ottoman machine guns as they tried to overcome the quicksand on the banks of the Kishon River, following which they would have had to cross the river as well as the steep slopes of Mount Carmel on the other side. Caught in the hail of bullets, Major Dalpad Singh ordered his men to abandon the crossing. Moments later, he was gunned down by machine gun fire, and his second in command, Aman Singh Jodha, took control. He led his men straight into the valley instead and charged into Haifa, joining up with the Mysore Lancers along the way. Within an hour, the battle was over. The men also rescued Abdul Baha, the leader of the Baha'i faith, who the Ottomans had been threatening to execute. The Jodhpur Lancers lost 3 men and had 34 wounded that day, and among them was Major Dalpad Singh, who died from his wounds on an operating table later that night. He was cremated the following day in an olive grove facing the sea. Major Dalpad Singh was posthumously awarded the Military Cross for his bravery on the battlefield at Haifa, while Aman Singh Jodha was awarded the Indian Order of Merit. Overall, 36 awards of gallantry were earned by the Jodhpur and Mysore Lancers. The charge at Haifa is often called the greatest cavalry charge of the First World War. Haifa Day is still celebrated every year on 23rd September. The Teen Murti Haifa Chowk in New Delhi was built in 1922 to commemorate the sacrifice made by Indian troops at Haifa on that fateful day. And that's it for another episode of the History of India show. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode and would very much appreciate it if you hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel. As usual, do feel free to reach out to us on the comment section to discuss what aspects of India's history you would like to see covered in future episodes.